Hey everyone, Dado Dad here, and today I was wondering why they only sell woodworking clamps for 90 degrees and the other common angles. What if you needed a woodworking angle clamp for, say, I don't know, 127 degrees? Well, stick around to find out how you can level up your woodworking skills with this little device. And I'll show you how to make a set for your own shop. Let's check it out.
A few months ago, while making my plywood dinosaur bookshelf, I ran into a problem with clamping pieces together during glue up because I had so many different angles. For gluing rabbets, dados, and perpendicular butt joints, it's hard to beat the precision of positioning squares because they are machined to a perfect 90-degree angle. I'll leave a link to the positioning squares I use all the time in the description. And Rockler makes adjustable angle clamps with positive stops at the most commonly used angles like 60 and 120 degrees. That's a great option if you only need certain common angles. But what happens when you need to hold, say, 108 degrees? In certain circumstances, you could use a strap clamp. That would be a great choice for gluing up a pentagon. But what about this joint? Still 108 degrees, but you can see that a strap clamp just really isn't going to cut it, no matter how hard you try. So there's got to be a better way. Introducing Dado Dad's Any Angle Clamps. Call now because operators are standing by.
Now this is by far the cheapest way to hold any angle during glue ups, and it's super simple to make. Just start with a length of angled aluminum. I like to use 1.5 inch stock, that's an 1/8 inch thick. I suppose you could use angled iron as well, but it's a lot easier to machine aluminum with woodworking tools than it is angle iron. First, start by cutting 2 pieces of stock to roughly the same length. I like to use my bandsaw for this, and they don't need to be precise, but they need to be about 2 inches wider than the size of the clamps that you want to use. I have all kinds of these in my shop, some short, some long. I like a variety for different size projects.
Start by tracing a half circle at the edge of one of your pieces, and then draw a line perpendicular up the other side. As always, it helps to mark your waste cuts. And while you're at it, go ahead and mark the center of the circle. We'll drill here later. Repeat this process for the other piece, but make sure that it's the mirror image of the first one, or else they won't fit together properly. Alright, let's cut these out on the bandsaw. I find it's easier to cut out the square tab first, and then do the semicircle second. While I work on this radius, please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And be sure to hit that bell so you can stay up to date on my future build videos.
Okay, now fit them together like this. And if you did it right, they should line up pretty well. If not, you might need to take them back to the bandsaw to clean it up a little bit.
Alright, now let's get these over to the drill press. Be sure to use a little bit of lubrication for your drill bit. And I like to drill these together so that I can make sure that the holes line up perfectly. Alright, it's pretty simple assembly from here. I just used a carriage bolt and a wing nut. I'm sure you could use a star knob or something else too, just as long as it doesn't stick over the edge.
Alright, so there's the finished product. Play with it a little bit to make sure that it opens and closes smoothly. You may have to take it back to the bandsaw to clean up a couple little bits, but I'm pretty happy with this one. So let's see how it works.
Use a digital protractor to set your desired angle. I'll link to the one I use down in the description. Then just put the angle holder on your protractor, adjust it, and tighten the nut.
Now I use the affordable aluminum stock from my hardware store, and the surface of this is a little bit rough. And that's a good thing because it actually holds the angle pretty well without slipping when I'm gluing up. But if you have really nice aluminum stock that's really smooth, this may slip a little bit. And so I recommend just getting a little piece of sandpaper and sanding the faces of the metal that touch each other, just to give them a little more friction and a little more holding power.
Once your angle holder is set to the desired angle, clamp your workpieces in place. I like to use these clamps that came with my positioning squares, but you can use quick clamps or bandy clamps or really any other clamps you have laying around. And if your angle holder is long enough, you can even use multiple clamps on each side.
So there we have it, 2 pieces of wood held perfectly at the angle of my choosing, ready to go for glue and nails. I can wave this thing around all day and it's not going anywhere. It's a super simple design, they're really easy to make, and now that I have them, I find all kinds of uses for them in my shop. But if you found another way to hold weird angles, let me know down in the comments. And if you liked the video, please be sure to give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. And until next time, have a good one.